Hi, everyone. Welcome to News, Views, and To-Dos, LISI's monthly live stream where we talk to industry professionals about what's going on, what's up with them, what they think about what's happening in the legal industry, and any suggestions or ideas we should know about. I am super beyond thrilled today to have with me our newest team member and a former colleague of mine, Dan Martin, who has joined the LISI team as the Director of Marketing Operations and Technology, or Marketing Technology and Operations, one or the other. And Dan and I used to work together at Ballard Spa in Philadelphia. What feels like a million years ago at this point, although I think it was only like a couple. And he was just such an awesome member of the team. I was excited to be able to bring him on. So Dan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Robyn.
Yeah. And thanks for joining the team. Thanks for joining my crazy.
Yeah. Great to be back in it.
Yeah, right. Dan said to me when he joined, he was like, well, I know what it's like working with you. I was like, do you know? Do you know what that's like? Do you remember? But seriously, so news, obviously you joined the LISI team, which is pretty cool. The other thing I think that is newsworthy and deserves a moment of recognition, you just got your master's in digital marketing innovation, right? From Temple?
Yes, I did. I graduated at the end of January this year. I think it's 2021 on my certificate, but I think they had to move the graduation a little bit because of COVID. But yeah, it was a straight 18-month program. I had classes at night while I was working full time. And it was a lot of work, but I'm glad I got through it and definitely learned a lot of new things that I can apply to the team here at LISI.
Nice. Very cool. What made you want to do that?
I was actually at a digital marketing conference prior to joining the program, and they had a booth set up. I went over, they sold me on the program, and I was like, I was always the kind of person that didn't want to go back to school. But after being in the digital marketing industry for 5-6 years at that time, the program kind of sounded like it was all the things that I was learning, and I could just kind of apply everything that I had already done. And it would kind of flow a little bit easier than learning like general philosophy or things like that in undergrad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least the program was at Temple and not at Villanova, because for those of you who know Philadelphia colleges and universities, Dan and I are both Hawks. We both went to St. Joseph's University in West Philly, and Villanova is our like bitter rival. So I'm okay with him going to Temple. So what type of stuff are you looking forward to working on here at LISI?
Yeah, so at LISI, I'm really excited to get into the data and analytics side of things. I know we have a lot of outputs, and kind of organizing all those outputs here at LISI can get ourselves set up for dashboards and make things easier for us to understand how not only the LISI team is performing from our website and stuff like that, but how our clients are performing and how the work we do for them, kind of what the ROI is on that. So I'm excited to plug those in and use some cool dashboards and BI tools. I'm also excited to get into a lot of process things. I think, as you know, from my time at Ballard, you and I are the same and big process people. So I think standardizing a lot of the processes we have at LISI will help us grow and move a little bit more nimbly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's funny. I don't think I appreciated that at the time we worked together at Ballard, but I really do appreciate how similar we are in terms of process now. So I guess that's why the team thinks that you're my kindred spirit on the team now, because we can get like nerdy about automations and processes and things.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, so next sort of order of business on these interviews is views. I'm interested to hear what you're seeing going on in the legal marketing space. You know, you've been out of legal marketing specifically for a couple years, and a couple other digital marketing roles, but not in legal marketing specifically since Ballard. So coming back into it, what are you observing?
Yeah, so I think in the legal marketing space, obviously things are getting a lot more digital. There's a huge focus on websites and SEO and things like that. And one of the things that Google just announced today that will impact every website in the world including legal marketing, is that the old version, Google Analytics, Universal Analytics, is being discontinued. So until July 1st, 2023, you'll be able to still use old GA, or called Universal Analytics. But once that date passes, you're going to have to start using Google Analytics 4. So now's the time to kind of move your firm's website over to GA4 if you haven't done so already, and also start exporting your data, from historical data, so that if you ever need to go back and look at year-over-year data or things like that, you have it on your own desktop or server or whatever.
So what's the big difference? I mean, like I've told you, not on this conversation, I'm good enough in Google Analytics to be dangerous, but I definitely just poke around and figure out what I need. So what's the big difference for the average user between Universal Analytics and GA4?
Yeah, so in Universal Analytics, things were kind of event and goal limiting. They had a lot of out of the box features, which was good, but with GA4, it's very event heavy. You can, write a bunch of custom events. Like if somebody downloads a white paper from your website, you can track that as a custom event. And then the other big difference I'm seeing is that in GA or Universal Analytics, there used to be, again, a good out of the box reporting mechanism. Now that's changed into what they're calling Explore under Google Analytics 4. So kind of behaves sort of like a drag and drop email builder, right? You can drag and drop like whatever you might want to analyze into this kind of Explore thing, and kind of manipulate things as you want them to behave, as opposed to using an out of box report that you have to just use the framework that you're given.
Okay. Which is probably why when I go into LISI's Google Analytics account, I can never find what I want, because I don't have in our GA, for instance, I don't have all those drag and drop things set up yet. That's what you're here for, Dan. You're going to get all of that set up.
Yeah, so we have to do that for sure.
We ripped the Band-Aid into GA4, and we're figuring it out, what all that means, so that obviously we can help shepherd our clients through that process in the coming weeks and months for sure. So okay, so views leads us to to-dos after all of that stuff. I agree with you. Legal marketing has gone way more digital than it was even pre-pandemic. I think, I always say lawyers could still hang their hat on the fact that marketing was a relationship business, and it is, of course, legal services are, of course, a relationship business, but marketing was about, glad handing and networking in person and all of those things. And if the past 2 years has taught us anything, we can't always rely on that. And it's also not always the most effective way to do that. So right. In terms of your perspective of what lawyers and law firms can be doing and legal marketing professionals, what would you suggest are the biggest to-dos they should be paying attention to?
Yeah, I agree with you that, it's kind of transformed, obviously still based on relationships, but the legal industry has started to behave a little bit more like B2B or B2C, where, you have a little bit more of a structured funnel, so to speak. You're starting to see lawyers kind of sell a little bit more in terms of service, even firms. So, have, landing pages for specific firms or services that they offer. Whereas, back when I started in legal marketing in 2013, that's not the type of thing you would see. Even SEO back in the day is not something in 2013 that was being talked about in the legal industry. So now, as sort of a to-do, I would encourage all firms and lawyers to kind of get the bare minimum set up. Get your Google Analytics connected, get your Google Search Console connected, and start dipping your toe into the pool, being a little bit more digital focused. You can dabble in SEO. There's also SEM, which covers the PPC aspect of it. But I think the legal industry as a whole is shifting a lot more digital, and it's going at a very fast pace, especially to your point, since the pandemic happened. We're just kind of accelerated now into the digital space.
Right. I hadn't really thought this before you just said that the acceleration piece. We've always joked, legal marketers, people in the industry have always joked that law firms are easily 10 years behind their counterparts, in accounting or in any other sort of services industry, and probably 20 years behind other organizations like more like product marketing efforts. But I wonder if this acceleration is just going to require that gap to lessen. I mean, it's something we've accepted and we all kind of like, ha ha ha, that's just the way it is. But I think that just can't be anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I would say the bar I usually used was 10 years behind. And I do think the acceleration is going to shut that window a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. You're seeing a lot of firms roll out new websites recently as things get a little bit more digital, new ways to contact lawyers and things like that. So chatbots and, I think that focusing a little bit more on the digital side would be great. You don't have to you don't have to become a full meta law firm, but I think that, getting the basics of a digital side set up is where you need to go.
Well, I mean, so yes, I agree with you, but also for the firms that are digitally mature or more digitally mature than many others, don't discount the fact you joke about meta law firm, but don't discount the fact that is probably coming.
Yeah.
We did a project for Strzok and Levan in New York, which was an augmented reality experience, based in a fictitious LA, the self-driven private tour of a museum, which was a way for the firm to showcase a lot of its high impact real estate practice content. And that I don't think is far afield from what online experiences with professional services companies might be like in 10 years. And I mean, like as a norm, I was just, sorry, I'm going to get up on a soapbox for like 2 seconds. I was just at ALM's Legal Week last week, and I spoke on a panel with Patrick Fuller from ALM and Trish Lilly from Strzok and Levan, and Richard Tromans and a couple other folks, really, smart folks talking about emerging global markets. And, I admitted to the audience, I can't tell you what the next European frontier is in terms of legal spaces, where businesses are moving into. But I can tell you that nobody should discount what is happening in terms of technology and what that might mean for just the delivery of services or the experience with firms. But last comment is the rules, the governing rules are going to be very slow to catch up with that. So we'll see how that affects it too.
Yeah, anyway. I agree. At the end of the day, the user search for professional services has changed drastically. Used to be heavy referral based and things like that. But now, with Google being so evolved and the internet being so evolved, users are spending more time searching for professional services or lawyers by themselves, so it's important to be found on those channels.
Yep, totally. Well, Dan, I'm so excited that you're part of the team. I'm probably going to say this every day for the next year. You're going to hate saying it, but I'm so excited you joined the team. I'm so excited for our clients to meet you and to have an opportunity to work with you. And, if anybody who's listening today wants to check out more of our news, views, and to-dos interviews, you can check them out on our website under the resources section, or be sure to tune in for LISI's podcast, All the Things. Episodes drop every Friday. We're always rebroadcasting our live streams via the podcast, and then we have a once monthly podcast exclusive episode called One More Thing. And this month's episode is going to be a look back on one of our recent speaking engagements and talking about some pretty interesting topics. So you'll definitely want to tune in for that. And Dan, thank you so much. I'm excited to have you.
Yeah, this was fun. I hope we can do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Bye.